Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you guys are doing well today. I can't believe it's been a month since we covered this, but it is export time. We're going to be talking about the Swiss watch exports for the month of June 2021. We do this on a monthly cadence where we look at the exports from Switzerland to give us a gauge of how modern watch exports are actually doing. This has been a really fun thing for us to cover. A lot of really good insights into sort of where the watch market is. So we're going to be going over June 2021. I'll say this at the beginning, but I'll say it throughout the video. The results that you see here are going to be compared to 2019. That's how the Swiss Federation for Horology are reporting now, because 2020 was such a low base. And so obviously the results would be ridiculously high. So as I do with all my videos, I'm going to look back at the past month and just give a quick synopsis. So May 2021, you saw a smaller growth in export results, down about 12% compared to 2019. But if you compare it to 2020, it was up 174%, which is, it is what it is. You know, you saw 12-month moving average move positively, and saw some really strong results from some larger economies like China and the United States, as well as the United Kingdom coming in there as well. I obviously, like I do in every single video, I predict what I think the results are going to be for the next month, and so I predicted around a 5% growth rate compared to 2019 for June 2021. I sort of based this off of the fact that obviously economies are recovering. I wasn't really expecting exports to really grow significantly. I thought it would sort of be around the same, because I think the pace at which global economies are recovering definitely varies by vaccine rollouts and a couple of other indicators. So that was my prediction, and I was correct in the direction, but incorrect in the amount that was exported. So in June 2021, exports amounted to 1.9 billion Swiss francs, almost just shy of 2 billion Swiss francs. Just to give you an idea, the previous month was just shy of 1.8 billion. So you're looking at about 200 million Swiss francs more than the previous month, and this equated to a 12.5% increase compared to June of 2019. So really positive results for the Swiss watch exports. I think this is an encouraging sign, which basically means that if you look at the first half of this year, we're at the same pace as what 2019 was. So one could say you sort of wiped out all of the negative results that we've had. We're sort of at the same pace as we were before this sort of global shutdown occurred. Compared to 2019, where exports are off about a negative 0.5%, which is not significant, I would say. If we look at the 12-month moving average, remained in the positive territory, right around that positive 18% growth, which is nice, especially because you are looking at negative 20 results if you look at the beginning of this sort of time period. I'd say that this trend will most likely continue until sort of the last 12 months has sort of been wiped out by the positive results that we're going to see this year compared to a year of a pandemic. Moving forward onto the materials, this was an interesting one. If you look at we can kind of go through this. Materials I thought was pretty interesting. If you look at the change in units compared to 2019, you can actually see that the units shrunk by 20%. However, the amount, if you look at if you look at sort of the Swiss franc value of the change, you can see where they were up 13.4%. So there's a couple of things that this indicates to me, right? The first thing is more watches are being purchased at higher prices, and that is sort of leading the charge as to why the actual value of the exports were increased, but the units were not. I think this is a story that I've sort of told in some of these other videos, but I think this shows that those who are in a fortunate position where they can purchase watches that are a little bit more expensive are doing so, and those who perhaps don't have as much disposable income are not doing so because of the impacts of the global shutdown. This means that when I think about it, everything over 3,000 Swiss francs is going to be bought, and everything below that, maybe not so much. But we are talking about materials here, so interesting results. Steel, basically like, if you look, it's really funny, like they were down 15% in units, but up by 15% in value. So this tells me more expensive stainless steel pieces are being purchased. Another category that was pretty interesting to look at is other materials, up 6% in units and up 36% in value. This is again not really making that to me is sort of a strange thing. People are just buying more of them, I guess. But gold and steel is a similar story as just regular steel, down in units, up in value, so more expensive gold and steel pieces are being purchased. We can go to price categories, and this again kind of tells the story that I've just said. You can see that units and value increased for watches over 500 Swiss francs, and for watches under 5,000 or 500 Swiss francs, you can see units and value fell. And again, you can see that sort of inverse relationship between units and value by looking over at the totals column. So you can see units fell by 20.6%, similar to materials. Obviously, it's the same kind of pot. And then the value increased by 13.4%, which makes sense. More expensive pieces are being purchased, less expensive pieces are not. It's going to be interesting to see what impact this has on individual companies. If this trend kind of continues, you probably will find some companies get into very tricky situations financially, and who knows what that will lead to. I don't think I'm going to be optimistic and say that it's not going to run watch companies out of business, but it is something that you should probably have in the back of your mind just in case. Main markets, it's the common names that we see at the top of the industry as always. So US, China, Hong Kong, Japan, United Kingdom, and Singapore were our top 6 markets. They made up 55% of all exports. US and China combined taking up 26.6%. That's a huge portion of the top 6 markets. If you compare it to 2019, you can see China was really leading the way in the top 6 markets, up 94% compared to 2019. But the United States having a fairly good year, up 35%. I think it again shows these 2 markets are the ones that are really recovering quite nicely. If we expand to sort of the top 30 markets, again, the way that this is reported is compared to 2019. You can see United States, China, Hong Kong, top 3. And then as you kind of move south, you can see a couple of more negative results. I think this also is sort of describing the way that the pandemic is affecting these countries. I think the United Kingdom almost had another shutdown. So the negative 5% doesn't surprise me if I was to say that. I always like to pull out some of the interesting ones. Russia up 91% compared to 2019. I just think it's funny because almost 100% change compared to 2019. It is interesting though. I would have expected the Russian market to be fairly large with the amount of collectors that are interested there. And then of course we have to talk about Ireland, up over 1,000%. I guess they bought an additional watch or something. I'm joking. Hey everyone from Ireland, good result for this last year. Okay, and then the last thing I'll just talk about is the regions. You can see Oceania actually led the way, up 37%, with the Americas, Asia, and Europe all positive, Africa negative. Pandemic is a slow process in Africa. I know from personal stories in South Africa, the rollout of the vaccines is going extremely slowly, and so not a surprising fact there. I also think it's pretty interesting. Asia, 50% of all exports in the total share, which is just insane. It is insane. If I owned an auction house, as Christie's and Phillips and Antiquam all do, I'd spend a lot of time in Asia. So, looking forward to July 2021. I can't believe we're already here. I have to admit, it's pretty crazy to me that it's almost August. I think it's going to be much of the same story. I'd say we're still probably going to have weaker results in some European countries. Africa's still in a fairly weak position. I think now that we're into the summer months, we're probably going to see some of our larger markets really take off. For example, I expect the US to really take off. Things have really been opening up and more people are going and shopping and traveling and doing things that would warrant purchasing a watch. I also think China, Hong Kong, Japan might see positive results. Japan was negative this, I think they were negative this year, or this month, excuse me. Yep, down 11%. But I do think Asian markets will continue to really show some resilience in these summer months. I predicted 5%. We came in at 12%. I'm going to go for about 8% positive. On the positive side, I think there's still growth that can occur coming out of this. And so, yeah, positive 8% is sort of my prediction. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at these results for June 2021, the Swiss watch industry export results. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about the results that have come out. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you haven't seen some of our other videos where we do cover the Swiss watch industry export statistics, you can check out our playlist or just head over to our website and you can find the series there. We have a corresponding article for this video, as we always do, on our website, so you can go to the editorial section of lifeonthewrist.com to read more about the results. If you like these types of videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you as part of the Life on the Wrist family. And if you wouldn't mind smashing that like button for us for our YouTube analytics, it really does help us out. And with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time.